Hello, welcome to the video on short question and answer on AC fundamentals. I'm Ganesh from Kekewag Institute of Engineering Education and Research, Nashik. Welcomes you on the videos on basic electrical engineering. So what is the learning outcome of today's session? At the end of this session, the learner will be able to solve the small numericals based on AC fundamentals. So this is the part 2. Earlier we have completed the part 1. So the voltage V volts in leading to the current by 90 degrees. Write the instantaneous equation in different four forms. So suppose V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Voltage is leading by 90 degree means current is lagging by 90 degree. So I is equal to Im sin omega t minus 90. So V is equal to Vm sin theta. V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Theta is replaced by omega t. Then omega t is replaced by 2 pi ft. Then 2 pi ft is replaced by 2 pi t divided by capital T. That is the time period. Similarly, in the current, theta is replaced by omega t. Omega t is replaced by 2 pi ft, and 2 pi ft is replaced by 2 pi t divided by capital T. So the peak value of the sine wave is 500 volt, and calculate the average value. So average value is 0.637 times of the maximum value in the sine wave. So 0.637 into 500, so it will give you 318 volt, 318.5 volts. So suppose you want to calculate the RMS, so it should be 0.07 times of the maximum value. Peak value is nothing but the maximum value. If the current is given by I is equal to 10 root 2 sine of 100 pi t minus pi by 6, so V is equal to I is equal to Im sine of omega t plus phi. Comparing, we will get omega t is nothing but the 100 pi t, that is omega is equal to 100 pi radian per second. So 2 pi is equal to 100 pi. So F is equal to 100 pi divided by 2 pi, it will give you 50 hertz, and the time period is equal to 1 upon 50, is 1 upon frequency, that is 0.02 second. If the current is given by I is equal to 10 root 2 sine 100 pi t minus pi by 6, what is the value of the current at the instant of time t is equal to 0? So suppose you substitute the t is equal to 0 over here. So sine 100 pi is replaced by 180 because it is inside this sign, so it should be 180. Time is 0 minus 180 by 6, that is 100 root 2 sine of minus 30, and sine of minus 30 is what? 1 by 2. So this is what? 1 by 2. So it will give you minus 1 by 2, it will give you minus 10 root 2 by 2, or minus 7.70 minus 7.071 ampere. If the current is given by 10 by root 2 ampere at time t is equal to 0, 0 instantaneous current I is equal to 5 ampere. So at time t is equal to 0, instantaneous current is given as a 5 ampere, and its RMS value is given as 10 root 2. Write the equations. So RMS value is the 10. RMS value is given as the 10 by root 2. So maximum value is RMS value into root 2. So 10 root 2 into root 2. So 10 ampere is the maximum value. And we know that the standard form is what? I is equal to Im sine of omega t plus phi. So Im value is calculated. Now we want to calculate what is the value of phi. So to calculate the value of phi, what is the relationship given? At time t is equal to 0, I is equal to phi. So I is equal to 5, 10 sine. Time t is equal to 0 means this value is 0 plus phi. So from this, phi is equal to sine inverse of 5 by 10, so it is a 30 degree. So I can replace this phi here, that is I is equal to 10 sine omega t plus 30 degree. Hope you understand this. If you don't understand, you can refer my lectures which are discussing some numerical based on the AC fundamental. It is available in my playlist. The RMS value of the current is I is equal to 10 by root 2 ampere, and the frequency is 60 hertz. The current enters into the positive half cycle at time t is equal to 0. Write the equation of the current. So RMS value of the current is converted into the maximum value. So I into root 2. So 10 by root 2 into root 2, it is a 10 ampere. So standard form is Im sine omega t plus phi. At time t is equal to 0, the current is equal to 0 because it is given that current is entering into the positive from time t is equal to 0. So t is equal to 0, I is equal to 0. So 0, 10 sine 0 plus phi. So phi value is 0. So it will, the equation is Im is 10, omega t is omega t plus phi. But while what is the value of omega given? It is omega value is given as 2 pi 60t. In this problem, frequency is given as a 60. So it is a 2 pi 60t. The RMS value of the current is I is equal to 10 by root 2 ampere and the frequency is 60 hertz. The current is the positive maximum at t is equal to 0 seconds. So write these equations. So again, RMS value is converted into the maximum value. It gives you 10 ampere. This is the standard equation which I already discussed in the previous problem. But here the condition is given that at time t is equal to 0, the current is the maximum value. So instantaneous current is equal to Im, that is a 10. So I is equal to 10. So it is a 10 sine omega t, time t is equal to 0, so this will reduces to 0 plus phi. So from this you will get the value of phi is sine inverse of 10 by 10, that is 90. Hence the equation of the current is 10 sine omega t plus 90, or you can say it is a 10 sine 2 pi 60t plus 90, as the frequency is given as a 60 hertz. Similarly, in this problem the current is given as negative maximum at t is equal to 0. When t is equal to 0, I is equal to minus Im, that is a minus 10. So it is a minus 10 is equal to 10 sine of 0 plus phi. So from this you will get the value of phi as a minus 90, that is phi is substituted as a minus 90. Hence the equation is 10 sine 2 pi 60t minus 90. So we want to calculate the average value. So to calculate the average, we have to add all these instantaneous values divided by number of values. So total number of values are 12. So n is equal to 12. So to calculate the average, I am adding all the values divided by 12. But you will observe that this 1 will cancel with minus 1, 2 will cancel with minus 2, 3 will cancel with minus 3, 2 will cancel with minus 2, 1 will cancel with minus 1. So average you are getting the 0. So to calculate the RMS, we have to root mean square. So first we have to square these all values. Okay, so you have to square these all values. After taking the square, take the summation of all that. It's 0 square plus 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 2 square plus 1 square plus 0 square plus minus 1 square minus 2 square minus 3 square minus 2 square minus 1. So square of the minus value is again positive. So you if you calculate this and taking the root of that, so it will give you 1.7795 ampere. So by this way you can calculate the RMS value of the from the instantaneous values. The next peak to peak voltage is given as 100. So this in the sine waveform, suppose this is the sine waveform, peak to peak value means this peak to this peak value total is given as 100 volts. So what is the maximum value? Maximum value is equal to peak divided by 2, that is 100 divided by 2, that is 50 volts. So this value is equal to 50 volt. So average is equal to 0.637 times of Vm and RMS is equal to 0.707 times of Vm. Substitute this Vm over here and calculate the value of the average and RMS value. Next is what? The alternating current I is equal to 10 sine 100 pi t is given. What is the time taken to generate it? 2 cycle. So a standard form is Im sine omega t plus phi. Comparing this, you will get phi is equal to 0 and omega t is equal to 100 pi t. So omega t is equal to 100 pi t. So omega is equal to 100 pi. So f is equal to omega upon 2 pi. That will give you 50 hertz. That will give you what? 50 hertz. So time period is 1 upon 50, 0.02 for 1 cycle, and for 2 cycle obviously it should be multiplied with 2. It will complete it 2 cycles in 0.04 seconds, that is 40 milliseconds. In the 40 milliseconds it will complete the 2 cycles. And alternating current is given by I is equal to 10 sine 100 pi t minus pi by 6, and I1 is equal I2, sorry, this is I2 is equal to 20 sine 100 pi t plus pi by 3. Calculate the I1 plus I2. So I1 is 100 by root 2 at an angle of 30. So converting this into the rectangular form. So this is a 10 divided by root 2 to convert it into RMS. So 10 divided by root 2 sine of minus 30 plus j sine of 30, it will give you in rectangular form. Similarly, convert I2 into the rectangular form. Then calculate the I1 plus I2 to get the total I. From this I, you calculate the Im. So Im is equal to whatever the calculated value of the I, it must be divided by root 2 and sine of 100 pi t in the phase angle which is calculated from here. So again convert this RMS quantity into the equations. Similarly, an alternating current is given by, so in this alternating current is same as the previous case. We have to calculate I1 by I2. So I1 by I2 is 100 by root 2 at an angle of 30, 20 by root 2 at an angle of 60. So to convert this maximum into RMS value. So 10 by root 2 will be cancelled, so 10 by 20 will give you 0.5. Angle of numerator minus angle of denominator, so minus 30 minus 60, it will give you minus 90. So I1 by I2 is, this is the RMS value, so to convert into the maximum value it must be multiplied with the root 2. 0.5 root 2 sine of, frequency is same as this is 100 pi t, 100 pi t, so it should appear here 100 pi t, and the phase angle is what, minus 90, it must be written over here. Similarly, here there are three currents are given, and we want to calculate I1 plus I2 minus I3, I1 I2 I3, and I1 I3 divided by I2, and I1 I2 into I3. So convert all this quantity into the rectangular and polar. Polar form is already given and rectangular. So I1 plus I2 plus I3, to calculate this, these rectangular quantities must be added, and then convert the result into polar form. To calculate the I1, I2, I3, so I1 is 10 at an angle of 30, 10 at an angle of minus 30, into I3 is 10 at an angle of 90 degree. So 30 minus 30 plus 90. So this angle 30 minus of minus 30, it will plus 60, plus 60 plus 90. So total angle is 150 degree. 10 by 10 is 1 multiplied by 10, so it is Q10. So I1 into I2 into I3, 10 at an angle of 30, 10 at an angle of minus 30, 10 at an angle of 90. So angle must be added, 10 30 minus 30 plus 90, so it will give you plus 90. 10 into 10 into 10, so it will give you 1000. So by this way you can solve the big size numericals also by using the simple complex number theory. Okay, come to the last slide. Determine the average value, or the average value is given as 5 by pi, and second current average value is given by 10 by pi. Determine the ratio of RMS value of the current I1 to I2. So average values are given. So average value in the sign quantity is 2 Im by pi. So Im is equal to pi into I average divided by 2. So Im1. So maximum value of the first average is pi into 5 by pi divided by 2, so it gives you 2.5 ampere. Similarly, maximum value of the second quantity is pi into 10 by pi into 2, that is a 5 ampere. So its RMS value is Im1 by root 2, so 2.5 divided by root 2, and I2 is equal to Im2 divided by root 2, that is 5 by root 2. So from this way, I1 by I2 is 2.5 by root 2, 5 by root 2, it will give you 0.5. The instantaneous voltage values with respect to omega t with the 100 volt RMS is given by V is equal to Vm sin omega t minus pi by t. What is the instantaneous voltage at pi by 2 and pi? So RMS value is given as 100, so its maximum value is 100 root 2. So at omega t is equal to pi by 2, so substitute omega t is equal to pi by 2, and then this quantity will reduces to 0. So sine of 0 is 0, so it will get the value 0. At omega t is equal to pi, so pi minus pi by 2, this will give you the pi by 2, and sine of pi by 2 is what, 1. So 100 into sine of 90, that is 100 into root 2, so its value is 100 into root 2. In the certain waveform, the voltage have a form factor of 1.12 and the peak factor is 1.3. If amplitude, so that is the maximum value is given, it is equal to 3222 volt. What is the effective value? So Vm is 322 volt and peak factor is Vm upon V. So from this, V is equal to Vm upon peak factor, 322 upon 1.3, it gives you 247.7. From the form factor, it is RMS upon average, so V upon V average. So V average is V divided by form factor. So V is calculated, this V is substituted over here. You will get and substituting the form factor value, you will get the average value as 221.15. Okay, so with this we are at the end of short question and answer of AC fundamentals. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get the next notification. Thank you.